Greetings to you. Who goes there? I am the modern druid, and you have entered the Delirium, a series of videos where we will talk about philosophy. We'll talk philosophy here, because Celtic druids were good friends with the Greek philosophers. There may have been connections with the Pythagoreans. I myself was a student of the philosopher Bernard Stiegler between 2001 and 2018. So we'll be talking quite a bit about philosophy in general, and Bernard Stiegler's philosophy in particular. But first of all, we might ask, what is philosophy, or what will we call philosophy in this context? Because there are lots of people we call philosophers who do very different things. Most of the time, today, those we call philosophers are people who have studied the philosophies of the past and who teach the history of philosophy. They're philosophy teachers, or historian of philosophy. But, differently, to define what a philosopher is, we'll use a proposition from Gilles Deleuze, a 20th century French philosopher, who gave another very precise definition. In Deleuze's words, a philosopher is someone who creates concepts. But what is a concept? And that's maybe a bit more complicated, but we can simplify with this. A concept is a word or a group of words that allows us to designate an element of the world, physical or metaphysical. So, a philosopher is, for us, someone who perceives things in the world and seeks out words to designate what they've perceived. For this, they have two options. Either they use a word that already exists, but propose a new or more precise meaning for it, or they invent a new word to designate this new thing they've seen. And that's where the interest of the philosopher, and of philosophy in general, really lies. The thing designated by the concept must be somewhat new, and must allow for a new way of thinking, and possibly change the way we see things. With concepts, a philosopher should allow us to conceive the world differently. This is why some philosophers are seen as mad or misunderstood. Nietzsche wrote that, some are born posthumously, meaning they are only understood after their death. That was his case. He had perceived and expressed things in his writings that were so new, his contemporaries couldn't understand them, and he was seen as crazy. On the other hand, if a philosopher proposes concepts that are immediately understood, it likely means they haven't really thought of anything new, and it won't help you change your perspective. Then, in order to think anew, one must take the risk of delirium. We're going to allow ourselves to delirialize a little. More specifically, what we'll try to do in these videos is to critique the concepts developed by Bernard Stiegler and the Ars Industrialis Association. Critique concepts here will mean try to understand them well, to grasp what they really mean. And, working on the concepts of Ars Industrialis, developed between 2004 and 2018, we'll be led to propose new concepts of our own. But before all, we'll begin with a short series of videos to introduce some of Bernard Stiegler's key concepts. Welcome, in the Delirium.